An elven warrior trapped on modern-day Earth. Two friends with different destinies meet at a magical school. These are some of the stories we at Electric Lips Comics are working on. You can get your copies of both The Mana Chronicles and Tales of Itherel at elpmerch.com. Support independent creators. Explore the merch featuring exciting ELP Comics art with a wide range of designs. Electric Lips Comics. Imagination electrified.
Well, welcome into the Oil Runners broadcast where your voice matters up here in Alaska and everywhere in the world. We want to hear what you guys have to say, so please chime in and we'll chat with you as long as we can. All right, so we want to make sure a couple things is to no trolling. We don't want the negativity within your lives and our lives as well. So that's not what we're about. We're here to help inspire each other, learn from each other, and grow with each other throughout this world. We've been going through a lot of pandemics and all that stuff. It's time to just come together, unite, and just be a positive attribute, an asset instead of a deficit in each other's lives. So today we have King Kurt live from the HNIC of HNIC. So I guess that's the head nerds in charge,
yes,
not
ma'am.
the other way.
Don't be nervous saying it.
I ain't gonna say it online, but I can say it in person. I have no problem with that. But technically, it would I could see that, I get it. Understood. The hidden message there. But how are you doing?
I'm good. I always love when people first see the acronym and then they're like, and then they see the whole name and they're like, oh, okay. I see what you did there.
I almost said it too. God damn it. I was going to say, you know what?
I'm not at that all right. That's the good part about one of the reasons why we kind of picked that for our branding, because if not for nothing, it's recognizable. It definitely makes you be like, huh, what are they about?
Yeah, it made me look like when I first saw your stuff, when I first met you, I had to read it a couple times, like just like how it is on the thing right there. I'm like, oh, right, okay. Yeah, my eyes kind of had to come back together into reality.
Oh, you should see when we pass out our T-shirts, because we have fans of all diverse backgrounds. And they're like, can we wear this shirt? I was like, just make sure you wear the shirts, not with just the letters, but with the full the full word.
Now I'm gonna have to get a T-shirt, man.
Listen, I have an entire collage of non-Black people wearing Head Nerds in Charge merch, and it says, it's okay. You're good to wear it.
It's been approved.
Awesome. Yes. You are approved to wear Head Nerds in Charge merch. Yes.
Nice. So how did you come up, besides that, where did that derive from?
Oh, that's an interesting story. So I'm a stand-up comedian. And I've been a stand-up comedian for over 10 years. I had the benefit of opening for Sinbad, Michael Blackston, and working with some, pretty talented people throughout my comedy career. Well, I had the opportunity to be recruited to a local radio station here in Philadelphia. And while writing comedy on that platform for a few months, I had some success. So the program director came to me. His name was Big Exclusive. I love him to death because he really got me my start in broadcasting. And he said, hey, listen, you're doing great work with other shows. How would you feel about your own show? And I said, well, I've never thought about doing radio or podcasting. So give me a chance. Let me go back and let me think on it. So I talked to my cousin, who is a big Twitch streamer, and he works with some big name people within the gaming community. Video game community. And I said, listen, why don't we all get together and jump on this internet podcasting thing, and let's just talk what we normally talk when we get together. And it's always nerdy stuff. I said, but just with Black people's perspective, you know, it's like nerdy stuff with collard green juice. It seeps and marinates. You know, it marinates. You know, it got to marinate just right. So
right.
we were going back and forth with names, and you know, we had a bunch of different ideas, but one of the things that we always enjoyed was this movie called Lean on Me with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
And
that's a good movie.
yeah, it's one of my favorite all-time movies. But
right.
There's this scene where he's talking to one of his friends, and it's something that we always quote when we're amongst each other. And he's like, you know, contrary to popular opinion, you are not the HNIC. He says the whole thing.
Okay.
That so that became the basis for Head Nerds in Charge.
Nice. So how many people do you have in your crew?
So we started off with four people. It was just me, my cousin, my boy Addison, and my friend Tom. And we now have an entire network. We took our show, ballooned up to about, I want to say 500,000 followers. And then we got to a point where we were like, well, we have this large platform now. Let's not keep it to ourselves. There are other people who could utilize this platform to promote their shows, their podcasts, and give voices to marginalized people of all walks of life, you know, class, creed, and color. So we opened it up, and now I would want to say we're probably about 40 or 50 different content creators deep. We're a collective of content creators that work within the HNIC network, the Head Nerds in Charge network, and we stream consistently throughout the week. We do in-person panels at conventions. I do my comedy stand-up, and everybody has their niche, and we all support each other's events and whatnot, and we work together as a team.
That's pretty cool. Not many podcasters do that. They just want their own little spot, and I get it, I really do. But honestly, we're all in it together, and that whole gatekeeping.
What's the problem?
Always do that is the gatekeeping. Yeah.
That what you just said. I always, you know, the consistent thing that the prevailing issue that kept coming up is they won't invite us to the table. They won't invite us to the table. How do we get to the table? And at some point I said, well, let's stop waiting to be invited to the table and just build our own. Yeah. It's nothing wrong with waiting for someone to recognize your talent, but why not continue to build your own house, your own platform while you're waiting?
Absolutely.
Never made sense to me to sit around and wait for somebody else to recognize what you already know. If you know it, then find your community, find your people, find like-minded individuals. And, you know, throughout everything we were kind of talking earlier, you know, you'll have that little bit of turmoil no matter what, because not everybody thinks the same. But at the end of the day, if somebody wants to work towards the same goal as you, you can build with them. It's easy to build with them.
Yeah. Just keep your character in check and your dignity in check, you know, and building into a better future. I mean, I think everybody could be on the same page on that. Like, if you're not, then okay, that's a different thing. You got your people, we got our people. So, like,
yeah. And if need be, you know, you work for whatever length of time that it works, and it's amicable for you both. And then sometimes you got to part ways, and there's nothing wrong with that. One of the things that I'm most proud about is, even though by and large, I'm considered the original founder and the head of Head Nerds in Charge. The organization itself is largely ran by women of color. Like, wow. By and large, I want to say 80% of the platform features women of color. And that is something that I specifically set out to do because women in media is an underserved community, like of marginalized groups. You rarely see, you might see a one. Oh, it's always the trope, especially in nerd circles. You'll see 4 guys and maybe 1 woman. And they almost become like the token woman for the group or the troupe or the podcast crew or cast. And I was like, that makes no sense to me. So I'm very proud of that.
yeah, and everybody's got something to say. Um, you know, and like you said, you were a comedian, you utilize that platform, right? But you also have other gifts within you to be able to go out and share. And you know, another platform could be able to pull out those gifts out of you and put on that, and you can utilize and just sprinkle everywhere, and people can know you as a whole versus just as that medium, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever that little icon is or that you set out to do. But yeah, like I love the fact that you do podcasts that way, and especially with the women of color too. Like that's great. I mean, you don't have that much out there either.
Well, it's kind of derives from, like, I was raised within a very specific religious structure. I was an ordained minister at 15 years old, and whenever you are raised up in an organization and you have that religious structure, you learn that you rely heavily on the women in the congregation to get a lot of things done. And
Yeah.
when you
Oh
work
yeah.
when you work hand in
Oh yeah.
hand with women like that, not only as equals but with a deep respect, it still translates even when you're not doing that kind of work within whatever religious organization that you're in. So
Yeah.
it just translated well to what we do in business and media, because, like you said, everybody has something to say, and the male perspective is prevailing. Trust me, you can turn on any media platform and you'll get the male perspective on everything from nuts to bolts. But sometimes
Yep.
when you just be quiet and listen to what marginalized people, especially women in media, have to say, it broadens your perspective on so many topics, especially when it comes to political things, when it comes to sports, when it comes to nerd culture. It doesn't matter what it is. A lot of times there's just so much patriarchal noise that it's hard to
Yeah.
hear. It's hard to hear other people in media.
Yeah. We're always told that we're supposed to be quiet and all kinds of, you know, to sit down, shut up, and just do work. Like that's it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And like but you know, and it's like festering inside of us women that it's like, man, I got a whole bunch of I got art to do. I got all this to do besides taking care of kids, besides cleaning the house, and besides doing this. It's nice, but you know, I got other stuff. But we can't, yeah.
No,
So
and it's very true, because at the end of the day, a lot of times it's pushed that you support a man in whatever his dream or aspiration is, and there's nothing wrong with
yeah,
that. I'm not saying that's not something that you can't aspire to, but also if you have something to say and you don't have a platform to say it, I always say, come over to us. Listen, we'll help you flush out, build a show, teach you how to be able to articulate a show in a streaming setting, because podcasting and streaming are a little bit different, and you gotta know how to be able to kind of formulate your message in a way that's going to be received to the masses. But if you got a message, we'll help you get it out there.
absolutely. Yeah, y'all go to that head nerds in charge.com.
Emphasis on that end.
Yeah, again, almost said that.
And listen. It is even for me, whenever I do, we're a very uncensored platform. So whenever I do anybody else's platform, I'm very stringent on censoring myself. Even I'd be like, yeah, I'm the head. Yeah,
Yep.
comfort.
Hi, yeah.
Hi,
Or
I get it.
head, yes.
I've been doing this for 6 years and I still be messing up, so I get it.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, it'll be a while. My brain's not gonna get it. I'm just gonna be real.
Listen,
Oh man. So now, where did you technically grow up? You know, and your historical piece as a little boy growing up.
well, I grew up in Philadelphia. Um, I want. I don't like saying I grew up in the hood, because the hood is a little bit different meaning now than then. Like we grew. I grew up in a pretty tough neighborhood, but it was still really family oriented.
It got worse over the years, didn't it? Yeah.
Well, you know what? Society as a whole is trash now. I'm 42 years old, and I couldn't tell you two of my neighbors' first names, but I could tell you almost every single solitary person that lived on my block growing up because they were a part of my childhood. They helped to raise us, and I grew up in a true community. And even though we didn't have much growing up, and you know, we struggled like a lot of people in the inner city struggle, but I never knew it. I never really understood it. You know, and my mom did an amazing job on taking care of our household and making sure that we had, you know, the base necessities of what we needed, and sometimes a little extra here and there. But you know, it's one of those things now where I look at the state of the world now, and people don't have that community and culture anymore, and that's why we've become so distant. I'm from the era before social media. I think I'm the last one of the last generation before social media made us less social.
Absolutely. I kind of want to go back. I mean, I get the cell phone just in case of emergency kind of thing, you know, that, but yeah, it
Nah,
all
listen,
went
I
to
remember the days of pay. I remember the days when
payphone.
you left the house, your mama said, make sure to take at least 4 quarters with you in case you got to make a phone call or an emergency. Always had to keep 4 quarters on your payphone.
Exactly, especially at
I'm dating myself saying that. That felt icky to even say. But
yeah, oh yeah, no. I was gonna say we have a payphone up here. I found one in
do
the
you
mountains,
really?
by the way. Absolutely.
Do you know that in America there are only 100,000 payphones left in America? That's it total. For the entire United States is only 100,000 left. And I don't think there are. I'm about to say you got 9,999 minus the one in Alaska.
Two.
Oh, you got 2 of them. Oh, well,
one's in Whittier, one's in Cleveland. That's I don't know where everybody else is, right? And it's free, by the way. It's free.
Oh, it's a free payphone?
Absolutely.
Then it's not a payphone.
Oh no. Oh right. But I have a picture of my
It's a public phone.
I have a picture of my son when he got up here. He was 14. Mm-hmm. And you know that whole generational, you have to I officially became old at that point. When we went up to this there's a certain spot you lose cell phones coverage, right? Going up the mountain. So it was like a couple miles up, and it's about 8 minutes long. And so we get to the phone, and he goes, "Mom, how do you use this?" And he's exploring. It's out in the middle of the woods, and it works because you obviously have to call down to somewhere, you know, and just in case something happens. Yeah, so bear territory, moose territory, wolf territory, whatever you got, but it's beautiful. And I have.
I wish I would be on a payphone while Moose is charging that.
It's a world up here, totally different.
I love it.
But I got a picture of him, and I was like, you know what? I have to, because I'm a photographer. I was like, I have to do this generational thing, and I really felt old at this point. I was like, man, what is this? I said, it is a payphone. And he goes, how do you use it?
How do you use it is diabolical. You'd be like,
Yep. But I was like, but I mean, at least he got to experience it in a way that, you know, instead of seeing it on a meme or something like that, he physically got to touch it and all that stuff. So I got that picture of him with it. Yeah.
See, my mom had the old one. Listen, I grew up. My first 7 years of life, we had a rotary phone. And I'm not talking about the rotary phone like the handheld. I'm talking about the box on the wall with the 2 bells.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about pick up the receiver, hold it to your head, speak into that rotary phone.
Yeah, my dad had refurbished one too from my grandparents. Yeah. The worst one I had was those dial ones where it's like, you know, you go .9. I lose it at 1. I'm like, dag nabbit.
We just lost
20 times.
all your young viewers are like, I have, like they were talking about the History Channel or something. I'm not sure what was
Yeah,
going on there.
for real. Yeah, that phone got me. I just about dialing 911 was the worst ever, and I think I died 3 times out of just trying to
Easily.
get it just to one. Yeah.
Each time that rotary phone had to come back around was a murder. Easily.
Yep.
3 bodies.
Yep. Pretty much. I'm done. I'm done. Like then
like
there was
if you were a
Blockbuster.
murderer, and somebody got the full 911 out, I'm gonna let you go because you know what, you did it. You got me. I mean, you obviously really wanted to survive, and I feel like I owe you a bone. You made it.
Okay, right. Like you're the freebie.
Mm-hmm. You got your freebie right there, buddy.
Yeah, what's that movie? Oh gosh, our one with the clown where he's always making like things. Back in our day. Gosh, I can't think of the name of this.
Not Terrifier.
Not Terrifier.
Oh, it.
No. He would come on the movie, or he would come on the screen. Like he would lock the people up. He would come on the screen and then tell them, "Hey, so you got to do this in order to get."
Saw. You know what Saw? Jigsaw.
Was it? Something like that.
Let's play a game.
Yes. Let's play a game. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite movies.
That's how our lives go back at.
Yeah. All right.
That's how
there's a lot of there's a lot of clown murderers, and we really went through a gambit with that.
That's because they're all clowns. What do you expect?
Clowns are scary. I agree.
No, I mean like real, not clown, but I mean clown in other ways.
Okay, yeah, true.
Just saying. Geez. Yeah, nope. That and the what do you call it? Yeah, Blockbuster. I had Blockbuster.
Wow. Now, see, I grew up with West Coast Video and Blockbuster. You had money if you could go, because I used to late charges. You gotta understand, black folks, we don't take nothing back.
That's called Redbox now.
Listen, Redbox. You mean I bought this DVD for $40? Is what it? We never took anything back. That
right.
We used to have West Coast Video, Blockbuster, and that's before Redbox even became super popular. Like we had VHS tapes. And
we didn't even record or rewind it.
Just remember how you had to rewind the tape back.
Yeah.
But see, West Coast Video used to be great because that's where we got a lot of our anime and a lot of Japanese cartoons that we weren't privy to back in the day. And this is before they would dub it and have English versions. Like I was sitting there trying to learn Japanese, never learned a lick of it, but I understood what was going on. They was doing a lot of yelling, but I was like, this is entertaining as heck. You know what I mean? Yep. I figured I'll figure it out, but whatever this cool cartoon was, because the cartoons back in the day were like Looney Tunes, Woody Woodpecker, Casper.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff, but it wasn't no Dragon Ball Z. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, honestly, I love all the power. I'm game for all the actors, and you know what I mean. I respect it. I have to go with the Power Rangers, the very first originals. I cannot go with the other ones. I tried, and it did not work out well.
The OG Power Rangers are the only ones that matter. Shout out to my boy Walter Jones, good friend of the show. And we met Walter and sat down and talked with him and got to hang out with him. We did karaoke with him. And he's such a cool individual, one-on-one. And he agrees. There's only one. Listen, there's when you say Power Rangers, I don't care nothing about what came after. That OG,
right. They had the stupidest things that they were doing, but I was like, you know what? It works.
Right.
I was like, it works, and Rita, her stupid self.
But see, you know what? See, Power Rangers, what a lot of people don't recognize is Power Rangers, when they got to America, was already a hit show in Japan. As a matter of fact, that's what the Yellow Ranger in the Japanese version is a man. That's why the body structure looks different than Trini, and because they took the cuts of them being Power Rangers from the original one, and they just filmed them out of the suit in the American one. But that's why Trini, she has a very thin frame. But if you look at her in the Yellow Ranger suit, little stocky, you'd be like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like the same person, and you don't realize it till you go back and look.
And I'm gonna have to, because I never knew that. Like,
that's why they made it. Yeah, because and a lot of people didn't realize Walter only has 3 fingers on his I think it's his right hand. Never realized that he was missing a finger the entire time. Yeah, go back and look. He hides it well.
Okay.
Listen, it's all those little cool things. Plus, I mean, once they introduced Tommy and the Green Ranger, shout out and much respect to JDF. Rest his soul.
Yeah.
Such a genuinely kind, dope individual, and hands down, Power Ranger showed the greatest butt whipping in all of media when the Green Ranger jumped into the Megazord and beat the brakes off the 5 of them and threw them out their own robot.
Yep.
Listen, I was so stressed. I've never seen somebody beat the brakes off of somebody and throw them out their own stuff. It was the most stressful time in my poor little middle school career.
Yeah, true. Right.
See? They know. Listen.
Yeah.
The best butt kicking in the history of media.
No, I totally agree.
All right. I'm about to say.
On top of that, I'm saying this as a female, he was actually good looking too. It wasn't like he was.
No, JD was a good looking dude. Like Jason was always the looker of the group. I would have been mad at Jason. Jason was like, so this is what we doing. So you gonna take Kimberly and kick me out my own Zord? I see how it is.
Yeah. Cool. Yep. And he called him Mike Tyson, also known as the Dragon Zord.
Listen, you know how diabolical it is to wear a helmet with no lips and use a flute that you can't blow into to summon a Zord that they never seen? Think about that. He used a flute dagger with a helmet with no lips. Lips don't move on that helmet. How was he blowing into the flute?
Very carefully.
Huh? Now that's some Power Rangers for your behind. Don't have to make sense. It goes back to what you said.
I said a little arms.
But he had a drill tail. He had a tail that was a drill. That's all. It didn't have to make sense. And them little arms that had little missile fingers. So come on, man. And when the first time they combined the Mega Dragons, the Andre 3000. Yup.
Yeah. Yep.
Get out of here.
Shoot. We had one of the Yellow Rangers up here. Was it this past convention?
Oh, okay.
I don't know which one. I'll have to look on my phone because I kind of took a picture of her. Because I was like, I still need the original.
That's probably. I think that might have been Ashley.
She's not here anymore, huh?
It was Ashley. She's like,
listen, me. I just want the originals. Still respect to all the actors and actresses about all that stuff. But she was here at the convention. I was more here for Rikishi.
No,
that was more.
I get it.
Rikishi and some others. But I seen her, and we had Pocahontas, the original Pocahontas, up here too.
Really?
Absolutely. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I guess she was from here. I didn't know that. Up here in Alaska. With the so wrong.
They're about to say, don't get yourself in no trouble. You get summoned somewhere you don't want to be.
Right?
I don't want to be summoned. I don't like that. No
I want to
magical
be like a
teenage.
mermaid.
Like, what if he summon you at 3:00 in the morning and you just got in? I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. I am not trying to fight little teenage kids in a robot at 3:00 in the morning. I'm trying to rest. You don't know what Dragonzord did that day. He had to work.
Yeah. Nobody got time for that.
See, you get it. You get it.
Yeah.
What other cartoons did you like growing up, though?
I was more real old school. I like that original Felix the Cat.
I remember
The,
Felix
the black and white. I love that. And the Betty Boop and all those classics.
Classics.
And, who was the other ones?
No one should terrorize the neighborhood. Sorry. I was a latchkey kid. Like, my mom used to have to work doubles all the time. So in the morning, she would sit me down and she would be like, okay, I'll be home in 16 television episodes. That's how I knew how long it would take for my mom to come home. And she would come home for lunch.
I'm loving your mom because I do that all the time. And I hate to say, my kids are grown now, so I do it to my animals. I put the movies on and I'm like, all right. So, and I do it on the timing that I'm left. I'm like, all right, I got 5 hours here. I'll put on these movies here. And I'll let them know if I'm not here by that time, it's okay to cry. But I'm going to go to bed. It's all good. Just listen to the movie. That's it.
Yo, it must be a mom's secret because she would, remind you, this is how old I am. She would take out the TV guide, the actual book. Yeah, you remember? She would take out the TV guide and she would say, count, how many shows is this? And I'd be like, 16. And she said, remember, this is where it starts. But by the time 18 comes on, I'll be home to give you lunch. And like clockwork, that's how I knew, when mom was coming home.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I thought I was crazy.
No, listen. I'm 42 years old, and I always remember having to like clean up or whatever. When MacGyver came on, I knew it was MacGyver, like Doogie Howser. And not because it wasn't late yet. It wasn't late. It was like the afternoon lineup. It would be like MacGyver, Doogie Howser, Knight Rider, then 18. And then by the time 18 came on, mom would be, I knew I had to have the least what little chores I was supposed to do done. And then by that time, but then when I got older, then we had the after school cartoons, but they don't have after school cartoons anymore. It's a sad.
No, it's all on cell phones and all that other stuff. Like and it's so sad. I wish MASH, right? MASH was one of those. That meant bedtime.
MASH came on. We was going to sleep.
Yep, that was like 7:30, 8 o'clock, wasn't it? Like
MASH and Night Court. I don't know if y'all got Night Court up there.
Yeah, Night Court. Oh my gosh,
yeah. Once Night Court came on, you was already you're gonna be tired for school tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. And we had like my after schools were I would have to because I was raised in the military as well, so I'm a military brat. So Mike Court, are you sure it wasn't right? Exactly, Michael. Yeah. He said Mike. But yeah. So like right after school, because I'd have to wait for my parents. My old teacher, she had this candy shop store, and it was in the computer room or whatever. So she had a candy shop, so we could go over to the candy shop, and she had the Warner Brothers on. So it was all the old school where we learned all of our history, like and
now you talking about Animaniacs. Come on,
and Pinky and the Brain. Yep. What we gonna do today, Brain? Well, listen, I don't know.
You gotta understand, like for me, I know verbatim the majority of every one of them theme songs: Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, DuckTales. Like that's the pinnacle of cartoon. Like that's the je ne sais quoi of cartoons. It's the Dawn Perignon.
Right.
They don't make
hello, numbers. Yep.
We learned geography. Thank you, Yakko, for taking us.
Wacko and God.
So I mean,
Yep.
cartoons used to be synonymous with how we saw the world. They had all kinds of adult jokes in there that we didn't realize were adult jokes, but when you watch them now, people like. I remember one joke when he was like, "We got to take fingerprints," and she was like, "Fingerprints," and she's holding prints, and she was like, "Nah, I don't think so." And I'm like, "Yo, that was just an Animaniacs. What?"
Right.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Roger Rabbit. He was a good one too.
No, that was one of that. I love. And they were going to do a sequel of that. They were going to do a sequel
On
to
Roger
it.
Rabbit?
Mm-hmm.
They
But they
need to
didn't.
not do all that.
They got to stop touching. Yeah. Beast War, Doug's, Tiny Toons, Sonic. Jalil White was that's the Sonic with Jalil White was the voice of Sonic. And the original Mario Brothers with Captain Lou Albana.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry, we're right with you. We old too.
Listen, I smell like Bengay right now talking about this. I'm
okay. Dude,
I'd give anything to go back to the 90s and just sit and watch TV for a little bit. I would like how Back to the Future when he would go and do all that running around. One of them days I'm just gonna sit and just be like, man.
Yeah. Aren't we in the year that they came to? Is it 24
or
25?
I still ain't got no hoverboard though.
No, oh my gosh, yeah. We could go back into those movies and see what kind of predictions they did. Now the Jetsons.
Yeah. Oh no, we still got some time before. Do we have time before the Jetsons? I'm not sure.
Well, they predicted the Zoom and all that stuff.
Well, did you hear about the cryptic fan theory about the Jetsons?
No.
So they say that the Jetsons and the Flintstones are actually in the exact same timeline. They're existing at the same time. The Jetsons, the story is the world is so polluted that they built their houses up on those high stilts above the clouds so that they can breathe. Below the clouds, things are so bad they're prehistoric. And that's where the Flintstones are. So because they did a Flintstones Jetsons crossover once, and then that's where that fan theory came from, that the Flintstones and the Jetsons actually existed at the exact same time. I always thought that was cool.
That is pretty cool. I wonder if they'll go with that.
Nah,
you don't think it would?
Listen, the way the world is going right now, if we don't stop climate change, it's going to be our reality. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I guess. Did you hear that they did a never-ending story again? Like they messed with the original.
No, what did they do?
I don't think they remade the never-ending story.
They should never touch a never-ending.
No, that is a classic. You don't touch that one.
Certain movies. I know. I never understood the necessity for certain things. Like certain movies did good in remakes. Like I thought the 18 movie was okay. 21 Jump Street movie was pretty good. It was a good comedy. Certain things from the 80s, they didn't need to bring MacGyver back on TV. That they should have never brought Quantum Leap back from TV. Right. Do you know they got another Matlock? They brought back a Matlock. They
gotta keep
leave the good things alone. Make new stuff.
Yeah, like I hate to say it, but a lot of them I think they were doing it for inclusion of different, different things that are going on now. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm black, so like don't yell at me. like including the Black community and all this stuff. I
And
think they did that for the Wonder Years or something like that. I'm like,
we
that,
can make
you know, or whenever.
yeah, you know, I did see that they the Wonder Years with a Black family, but that did. But the crazy part is, I watched the original Wonder Years, loved it. That's actually
Right.
one of the first times I learned who John Cocker. He's like, what would you do if you sang?
Yeah.
Like, I love that show. I absolutely cared nothing about the new one, and having a Black family didn't move me to the left or the right. I just want new, like This Is Us. That's a great original show that features all walks of life, especially people of color.
Yes. Absolutely.
Give me new stuff.
Absolutely. That show, I was very shocked, and Mandy Moore played the heck out of that mom. Like I was very because I grew up on Mandy Moore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When she first came out and all that stuff, I didn't think she had that portion in
That
her.
rain. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, she's so believable.
Right.
Like I want her as a mom, like for real. You
And
know,
look,
and how they
new original
all the whole
content, right?
yes. And if they can keep doing that, that's great. I love it.
See,
You know?
the only thing that bothers me, and that's one of the reasons why we developed our platform, is because a lot of people, a lot of TV execs, content creators, media people feel like they know what marginalized people want. Oh, just put people of color or other minorities in already pre-existing fandoms and we'll package it up for them. And that's no, we don't want to be. I don't want Johnny. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna say this. I don't want Johnny Storm to be Black. Oh my God, when Michael B. Jordan was casted as Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four, the fit that I had, the anger, I was pissed because as a comic book fan, as a Black comic book fan, that's not what I wanted. That's not what a lot of people wanted. But then you can put a Nick Fury as Samuel Jackson because they had it in the comic books, so it made sense in the movies. But for many people, they assume what they want. They assume how a woman should be portrayed in media. They assume how Black people should be portrayed in media instead of asking the actual people themselves and making them writers in the room.
Right. And
have them be, let them be the producers and the showrunner.
Yeah.
One of the best examples of that, even though the show was okay, but what I appreciate what Marvel did was with Echo. Echo actually had Native Americans a part of the production and helping to tell the story of a character based in Native American culture. Why would you ever rely on a room full of people who aren't of that culture to tell that culture's story? It just doesn't make sense. And they do it all the time.
Yep. Yeah, there was a movie that I only heard about it because my native teacher, she up here in college, she actually wanted us to go check it out. Right, there was a lady who came in and really awesome lady. I'm gonna see if she'll. I mean, I'm gonna have to contact her anyway.
You said, well, I gotta get that's another interview I gotta set up.
Yeah, you gotta contact her. But we were wanting to do something and really trailblaze some stuff. And she's a native lawyer, so like big talk kind of thing, trying to get things set up for me to. But either way, she was on this movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, and I can't think of the name of the movie. It was like something of a flower moon or whatever. And it was a panel that the college had put on, and this lady, she was in it, and she was there at the movie with the actors and all that stuff. And like you said, like she was helping them do the culture properly. But the was like one of the head things. I was like, but that doesn't make sense. But you know what I mean? Like it. Okay. It was a Martin Scorsese movie, and but I have the whole thing. Huh?
Was it the one where he got attacked by the bear?
Hold on. I've never seen it. It was something of it was a flower in the name and like the moon something. I can't.
It's okay. I'm pulling it up. I'm gonna see.
And I think the leading lady one or the second she won an award, but she was native, I believe it was, or she. Either way, I have the panel, the whole thing on tape or on video, so I'll put it up online for them to. It's, the whole thing. It was very very intriguing to hear about that and like how everybody felt about the historical piece of it. Like I mean, actual people who know things. I'm like, wow, okay. Like,
No,
but either way,
it could be so simple. Just again, have people who actually are a part of the culture that the story is centered around involved. It ain't rocket science.
But they make it out to be.
Yeah. And sometimes that's why you have to build your own platform and formulate your own things. And sometimes you have to say, okay, if they don't do it, then we have to do it. And that's why it's important to support like podcasts like yours, podcasts like our network, because if you want to see more of a thing, there are people out there doing it. It may not be doing it on the grand scale that a lot of these big budget productions may have it. But if you supported these mediums, then they can grow and bring more of the content that you love. Well, I always love that the clothing line FUBU, for us, by us, because no matter who the for us is or the bias, it works.
Yeah.
Whoever you're doing it for, if it's coming from those people, support it.
Yeah. Yep. And again, keep your character and dignity intact.
Avoid drama at all costs.
It just that's something I always see, like people that don't have good character, they got great product, but their character and dignity. I look at the character and dignity of that person, but oh, okay. Do I want to buy from that person, or do I want to like? And that's something professionally I look at is a person's character.
Listen,
How they
what good is it to be financially wealthy if you're morally bankrupt?
Absolutely, amen to that. Yeah.
No, it's a hard thing because it takes money and resources to build anything, but also if that is if your goal is only to make money, then really then you're not doing it for the people. You're not really doing. You're doing it for your own self gratification and your own advancement. And listen, I'm not knocking nobody going out and getting theirs, but then don't package it like, oh, I'm doing it for others. No, you're doing it for that's that. You can tell in the way that people regurgitate content, the way that whether it be music, television, or movies, the imagery that you portray, what will get people in the seats, even if it's not of substance or quality.
Yeah.
I mean, fast food is a thing because it's cheap and easy, but let's not pretend like it's healthy.
Yep. And now you have and I can say this because I was fat at one point in my life, and now you have that. You got issues with people who have mental health issues with their being big and anxieties and all kinds of stuff going on with that, but yet those chemical, all that stuff, like they just packaged it all pretty. Okay, so the company does that. I'm not sure about the people who work there packaging everything pretty, but
I know. But they got at the end of the day, it's just like with content. There is fast food content. You see it all the time. It's content that will entertain you, to give you a dopamine hit, but really it's of no substance, and it's lending itself to the malnutrition of information throughout this entire society. Misinformation is so easy. Ignorance is so easy because no matter how much substance is out there, there is 10,000 times more BS.
Yep.
And who's going to wade through quality versus quantity? And really, you that's why as a content creator, you have to think, what is my goal with my content? Am I uplifting? Am I positive? Am I trying to add substance to people's lives with my content, or am I just doing things for clicks and views so that I can ingratiate myself and make money? Again, I am not knocking you if that is the case. Also, if you can do better, be better.
Yeah, absolutely. And trying to push it through the algorithm. It seems like the algorithm wants the stupid stuff.
Could
you know?
you are listen.
Never
forget your biggest enemy as a content creator will always be Big Al. I call it algorithm. Big Al is gonna keep his foot in your cheeks.
Yep.
He wants your money. He wants you to pay. And
yep.
Don't get me started on that.
Oh no, please do. Please do with the algorithm, because this is, I mean, everybody's having, including me. It's like the algorithm is a interesting place to be at. Trying to figure out, and it's always changing. It's not even like you can't say certain words, you can't do certain things. You can't, like, on one of them. And I'm not going to name the platform, but on one of the platforms, like, that's ever changing. It's changing so much, and it's like, whatever. I'm just gonna do whatever I gotta do. But you can't, like, on a live, you can't have a cup, or right, Uncle Sam. You can't have a cup or a drink while you're doing that. Otherwise, you get banned off of the whole thing. Or you got to say certain things. You got to, like, what the heck is this? You can't be.
Listen,
really?
in a generation where I have to say unalive as opposed to the actual word, it is the single stupid. It's the most.
Yeah.
It's teaching people. the
Shadow Man. Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm back on that old school texting, like, where I lost the number 9 on my thing, and I had to reword everything. I couldn't get those letters.
Yeah.
I need a thesaurus for this mess.
No, literally, you have to almost build a new language around the censored words. And unfortunately, this is what I'll say. Of course, we built our platform where before a lot of the censorship came, we had more freedom of speech, and it was more about the community. But once Facebook became a publicly traded company, obviously they became a money-making entity as opposed to a community-centered social media platform, which it once was. That's I mean, unfortunately, you can't get around that. The platform's purpose is to make money. How does it make money? It generates revenue. How does it generate that revenue? By making you pay to boost your things. That's how Facebook makes its money. YouTube, similar. It is not a community place. You need, if you're going to build a platform, right? Oh well, Facebook jail. I done been in Facebook jail so much. I at one point, what you have to do, and this is for any content creator that's listening out there, you absolutely need to have your platforms on the big boys: TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I'm currently on a Twitter ban for my own personal reasons, but there are other platforms that you can utilize out there for your social media. But you cannot stop there. Do not undervalue building your own website, curating a mailing list to be able to push your content to a community that you have to slow build. A lot of platforms, especially podcasts, they do not have websites. And that is the first mistake of any podcast. Having a podcast with no website is literally doing yourself a disservice. Because what are you tracking your content back to? Back to your social media platforms? Well, other people own that, but you own your website. If you do not have a website and you have a podcast, then that is the first thing you should do, because now you have your own community space that you can build where you can funnel people to. And once you funnel enough people and you actually build a decent sized mailing list, then you can push your content out to them directly, from provider, content creator, right to recipient, as opposed to a third party platform like social media. So that's my little content creator tidbit. We get a lot of podcasters that come in and like, oh, well, I got all the social medias. Okay, well, where's your website? I don't have a website. Well, what about your mailing list? Because every time you put out an episode, you should be able to mail your episode to all your followers and subscribers.
Oh, well, how would you, I never thought about the mailing list. How would you do the, like, where do you go for that mailing list stuff?
So I'm going to give it to you nuts to bolts. You go to Wix.com, you start yourself a free website. And then if you want, you can do the paid service. You curate a subscribe here box. You can go on Fiverr. You can go on Fiverr and have somebody actually build you a simple 5-page front-facing website that will just build the mailing list. Then through your social media platforms, you say, hey, go to headnerdsincharge.com and get on our subscriber mailing list. And for us, with 500,000 followers, we have about maybe 30 or 40,000 people on our subscriber list. So that when we put out a podcast, when we put out an event, when we put out a blast message, I don't have to go through social media to get to my followers and supporters. I can email them directly. And see, it does two things. Number one, it gets your content right into the hands of the people immediately. Also, if Facebook goes down, if Instagram goes down, if all of these platforms die tomorrow, I still have a community to build from.
Okay. I never thought about the mailing list. Thank you for that tidbit. I like that. I'll have to go ahead and start a mailing list somehow.
Listen, and if you need help, just let me know. This is the things that we teach and when we advise, and this is, mind you, these are free. We do this for free. We're literally out there just trying to help people grow their content. Even on our platform, we have paid services that we do within our platform, but we do a lot of things for free, especially for people who are just getting started, because we know how hard it is just to get started. And nobody wants to help each other. Well, come to Head Nerds in Charge. If you got questions, concerns, you can DM us on our platform. We have around, I want to say 12 or 13 producers who curate their own content on the platform, who have no problem sitting down and having a conversation with you and helping you to gain access to those things. And it doesn't really cost much. You do have to invest in your content, but it's not, I'm not telling you to give us money. I'm just going to tell you where to go to easily get it done.
Right. See, less gatekeeping, the better ever office, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Amen to that.
And we had to go through that gatekeeping mess ourselves, so we're trying to help everybody on that end, because it's a pain in the butt. I'm not trying to spend $300.
Yeah, I love Gary Vee.
Spend $300 just for somebody to say, "Oh well, okay, go to this website then," and then I'll tell you about the whole. No, dude, I'm already broke.
Right, and most people are doing content to build a platform so that they can generate revenue.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of people don't have startup money.
Yeah, like you got to spend money to spend money to get money. It's like, okay, I get a couple dollars, sure, guaranteed, sure, but not 1,000 or whatever. Right, like
right.
Somebody creators are selling a course. Absolutely, I can't stand the courses thing.
Yeah, and I hate. Listen, let me tell you something. If I don't like selling people information that you can Google.
Right.
I feel,
or it's on YouTube already.
Right. It's amazing to me. And people will try to package it like, oh, well, I got all of these followers and I'm going to give you my secret. And the secret is the same regurgitated mess that everybody says.
Yep.
Nah. We'll give you the startup stuff and most of the information that you need for free. Anything that I personally know is stuff that I had to go and like teach myself. Like, see, Lovey, and I love you, brother. And that's my boy Lovey. And we've been working together for many years. And he understands like that. I hate seeing people vulture off of you're a creator yourself. Why would you pick the poor meat off the little bit of meat that these creators have on their bones, and you handicap them and you profit, and then it's not like you helping them. It's not like okay, well, I'm gonna work with you until you get to a certain peak, or I'm gonna guarantee you're gonna get to this certain point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. For $89.99, you can learn to be a content creator like me.
Yeah, right. Actually, isn't it? You missing a 9 there? It's $899.99. You save a cent.
No,
I need to put my 2 cents in right there because I can't do it. Like, yo, no.
And I appreciate Asia because she's a part of a network. She's a part of a network that actually works with our network, and it's an amazing thing to see people who start off in content creation and streaming, and then their confidence builds, and then they develop their own platform to a point where I'm like, hey, you don't need us anymore. You can absolutely stay, but also I'll teach you how to build your own network so that you can do what we're doing, so that there's more hubs. We need more people like us. It's not somebody that has to stay underneath the HNIC umbrella. No, we want you to go off and build more of these hubs, because if there are more people like us, then we can keep uplifting each other so that until we get to the mountaintop, because ain't nobody at the mountaintop now.
Right. Okay, I've been hearing all about these Patreons. What the heck is Patreon?
Oh, come on now. You got to.
I'm still new.
Okay, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Patreon is a subscription-based service where content creators can go and put exclusive content behind a paywall, but you can do the exact same thing with a website. Patreon takes a piece of the money that you generate, and basically, like, we have a Patreon, we have a $5 tier, $10 tier, $20 tier, and it basically, you know what Patreon is? A less salacious OnlyFans.
I was just gonna ask, was it like an OnlyFans, kind of ordeal?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be all sex work. I mean, it's just content. Whatever, just like OnlyFans. I mean, sex workers have made it popular. That's how we know the name and the brand. But there are musicians, guitarists, gamers, regular people on OnlyFans. OnlyFans doesn't necessarily have to be synonymous with sex work, but OnlyFans, Patreon. But you can also do the exact same thing through a website. Even Facebook and Instagram have subscription-based platforming that you can get paid off of, and you can put content behind a paywall. So if you got, let's just say you didn't want to stream this interview, you wanted to put it behind a little $3 paywall. Hey, you want to see the Christinall.love interview? Pay $3, you can see the interview. Then you can generate revenue off of that. And I would do that with a lot of, like, if you get celebrity interviews and things like that, you put it behind a paywall, or you could just have it where, hey, this is how you can financially support our platform, and you generate revenue that way.
Okay, that might be an idea. It might be a real good idea.
It's definitely a beneficial thing.
Okay. Yeah, and I've always been hearing about that. There was one chick that she always did these murder investigations. I guess her name was Christina, actually, and she's like, "Oh, Patreon. Like, I can't say much on here, but I can go say it on Patreon." I'm like, "What the heck is this?" And I just keep hearing it, and no ads for it, but I keep hearing it. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, one day I'll check it out.
No, it's great. Listen, if you do, like, we're currently curating a true crime podcast with a creative, and there's an hour of free content, and then she's going to put a half an hour of exclusive content, things that she didn't talk about, in her Patreon, so that her supporters, those that really want to see her grow, they can monetarily help her grow, and she's giving them value for dollar.
Okay. All right. Huh. Good enough. I'll definitely look into that. That's
Right.
I'm as simple as it can be. But YouTube,
Ain't nothing wrong with
TikTok,
that.
Facebook right now, and I don't even have a Twitter.
Well, right now, Facebook is great because Facebook pays people for their content finally. And I mean, like
Oh, with the
Facebook,
stars.
huh? Well, no,
Do those
not just for
stars?
stars, not just for stars. If your content, just posting your content, you can generate revenue. We generate a nice piece of revenue off of Facebook just by posting our videos and memes and whatnot, and all of that stuff adds up. And when you have a platform as large as ours, we average anywhere between 20 million and 30 million people a month on our page. So
Wow.
even with a half a million followers, they're all sharing our content. So of course, when your page generates that many views, looks, and your reach is that extensive, you can generate a nice little. I mean, I put it like this: it's enough to keep the network going. But I always tell people, if we did more of the content that Facebook liked, we would make a little bit more money. But I refuse to conform for anybody.
Right. Yeah. Does all that money go to the HNIC sweatshop?
Nope, all of our merch is made right here in good old Americana and good hard-working American hands. Now,
You hear that, Salvador? I love sending stars. Yeah, I think, shoot, this is some good stuff over here. Oh,
we
Facebook
try.
don't like this. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Facebook is
Facebook doesn't
interesting.
like Facebook really doesn't like. It's okay as long as, and that's one of the good things. If they ever kick us off, we have other places to go.
Right. Oh, what happened to my? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody keeps trying to mess with my thing. Sweatshops of Philly. Big Al wants to say, oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
Facts, Lovey. That algorithm wants you to move to it, whatever the trending topic is or whatever. And sometimes nobody wants to support the foolishness.
Right. Shoot. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna, if you're okay with it, I think we're gonna have you on as a second show sometime.
Listen, you just say the word and I would love it.
Absolutely. But we thank everybody coming on. If you were to leave a legacy, what would that be?
I wrote this a while ago, and I said I don't want to be measured by how much money or success I garnered for myself, but how much money and success I generated for other people. So if I could leave other people in a situation to be able to build and do the same thing that I love doing, giving voice to other people who do not have a voice, building platforms and creating content for us, by us, then that is the legacy I would love to leave behind. I would love to leave behind something where it will last for generations and not just be contingent upon me to keep going, but other people can use it as a stepping stone to build their own dreams.
That's awesome.
I try. Awesome. My mama raised me right.
Yeah, the last generation.
Yeah. Facts. That is the truth.
The last generation. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But I really appreciate you having me on. Your platform's amazing, and I love what you're doing.
Yeah. For sure. Fubu. Will he help him build confidence and generational wealth? And yep. Shoot.
Listen.
Hashtag Fubu.
Yeah. Emphasis on the generational wealth because the brother needs some money. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Well, there's a message. We love you, Kurt. And thank you for everything you've done.
And I appreciate
that says something
everybody.
about your character. Says something about your character. When people
What'd you
come
say?
after you like that.
We listen.
Huh?
What did we talk about earlier? We said the character of the person matters much more than what they can do for you.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. We thank everybody that chimed in. I'm appreciative of you, and I'm appreciative of you being on the show and chiming in with your knowledge and wisdom and pieces, and everybody else's knowledge and wisdom and pieces, because we're definitely going to use those and build off of those, and whatever we can do to help on anything, that's a definite.
Well, listen,
we
in the network now. We know each other, so it ain't nothing for us to reach out. And I listen. You let me know when you're ready to start getting that website and Patreon and stuff started, and we'll talk and I'll help walk you through the process.
Oh, absolutely.
They know. They listen. They know. This is my kryptonite.
Yes, shoot, that was great. Like, for real. Now I'm gonna have to go get some. But
yeah. Delicious.
Did we just?
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup. So many activities. We're gonna do so many activities.
Yep. Oh, yeah. You can't get rid of me now unless you physically get rid of me.
No, ma'am. Welcome to the family.
I don't care what nobody tells me about you. I know from just at least this little bit, your character is legit. It's good. Yeah, you can't get rid of me like that. So
listen, I don't expect you to go nowhere. We got work to do.
Yep. Besties. Oh no, you did the TikTok.
Yeah, that's it. My nieces taught me this. They was like, Uncle Kurt, you got to do it like this. And I'm like, I got fat fingers, so it just looked like I'm trying to hold a hoagie, but you get the point. Yeah,
I don't even know. Like, shoot.
I thought it was this, but they were like, look, these kids, they should be happy.
Yeah, whatever happened? I can't even do that. Oh, like this.
I thought it was but now it's.
Oh, he's stuck with us forever now. Shoot. Like, all right. Well, we thank y'all, and we'll see you guys later. And we're going to end the show. We thank you, and your voice matters. Just remember that.